Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. I am Michael Enyart, and my pronouns are he, him. I love this church because for the past 25 years, Live Oak has been my one and only community. It is here that I was welcomed, nurtured, cared for, and challenged to grow. In gratitude, I hope to welcome and include others in the same way this church welcomed and included me. Before we get started today, I want to recognize and give a special thanks to Megan Madsen, who provided these beautiful flowers that you see right here on the chancel. These are Megan's flowers that she grew in her garden, and I think they're beautiful, don't you? This congregation is a chosen village of all ages, where we share our lives and work to become the people we've always wanted to be and build the world we always wanted to live in. Whoever you love, whatever you believe, wherever you are on life's journey, all who are welcoming are welcomed here. And it is good to be here together this morning. Let's sing. Please rise in body or in spirit. This is the opening hymn, number 1011, called Return Again. And please remain standing for the chalice lighting and sung response. Today our chalice is being lit by Calamia. We are all able in different ways with various strengths and talents. We are all a holy part of the universe and the interdependent web. We light this chalice, cherishing our differences and holding each other in sacredness. Please join me in our sung response. Today, we are pleased to welcome our guest speaker, Ronnie Gelman, to Live Oak. Ronnie is a rising second-year Master of Divinity student at Austin Seminary and a member of First UU. Their emerging ministry centers on grief, spiritual and material resilience, and social justice. I'd like to give a special welcome to anyone visiting us for the first time. I encourage you to stop by our table in the Welcome Center, where we can give you a goodie bag and get you signed up for our weekly email bulletin and answer any questions you may have. After the service, stick around for a few minutes, have some coffee. We'd love to get to know you. And next Sunday, you have the opportunity to learn more about Live Oak. After the service, there will be an exploring membership class from 12:15 to 1:30 in 106, which is back that way. This community has events happening all throughout the week. I encourage you to check the calendar every Sunday to fill out your schedule for the week to come. Go to our website, liveoakuu.org. In the top menu, hover or tap on What to Expect, and then click on Events to see our full calendar of upcoming events. Something you might be interested in starting after today's service. Beginning today at 12:30, a transgender and non-binary support circle will gather on the first and third Sundays of each month from 12:30 to 1:30. That's going to be in room 209 upstairs. This is a welcoming space for adults at every point in their journey, whether you are just beginning to explore your identity, seeking community and understanding, or looking for a supportive place to process the challenges and joys of living authentically in today's world. Grounded in Unitarian Universalist values of love, inclusion, and in the inherent worth and dignity of every person, this circle offers compassionate listening, shared connection, and mutual support. Come as you are welcome. Generosity is one of our Unitarian Universalist values, and one way we practice this is by sharing our offering with an organization that upholds our vision of creating beloved community. This month's recipient is Hill Country Community Ministries, and here to tell us more is Donna Durbin.
Good morning. I'm so happy to speak about Hill Country Community Ministries because we've been involved with them for at least 10 years and seen so many good things happening. I want to let you know that there's a number of people that are volunteering with the organization. They're headquartered in Leander and have a food pantry there, as well as an income intake center, and they've been helping. They're really our neighbors, those of us who live in this part of Northwest Austin and Leander and Cedar Park, and helping to provide food and help with other necessities. And we've been able to meet some of the people that they've helped, and so I hope I'm not going to get teary, but what they do is just amazing. And the way that we've been helping them is we have volunteers. Karen Santhantham works in the thrift store, and Becky McPherson works in the center in Leander, and Wayne McCulloch helps bring food from the grocery stores that are donated, and as well as we have at least a dozen people that come the third Friday of the month to help distribute food. So that's our part, is volunteering. Unfortunately, Hill Country needs our volunteer help, and we'll be glad to take any more volunteers, but they also need money donations. They really have a vision to expand where they are and to offer more help to people in need. And so this morning, as we take the offering, half of the money will go to Hill Country. And so I'm just going to urge you to be generous.
We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and for our world than they could have done all alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. And now an offering will be taken to sustain the work of this church.
So, my name is Renee Garcia. Yes, that was lovely. Thank you. I'm Renee Garcia. My pronouns are she, her. I'm standing in for our Director of Faith Development this morning, Chris Jarman. I invite friends, young and old, to come to the front of the chancel if you'd like a better view of the slides for our story today. You're welcome to do that. Today we'll be reading Areli is a Dreamer, a true story by Areli Morales, a DACA recipient. Illustrations are by Luisa Uribe. At Abuela's house, Saturdays were filled with family and sunshine. Areli was good at playing al escondite and even better at chasing chickens. She could outrun her big brother Alex and their primas. When evening came, she sat around a noisy table and ate mounds of tortillas and pollo con frijoles for supper, her favorite. But Sundays were different. On Sundays, Areli and Alex sat in the stuffy living room, waiting and waiting for the phone to ring. Bring, bring. It's your mama y papa, said Abuela, from America. Hola, mama. Hola, papa, said Areli in a small voice. Hola, mi niña, said mama. Did you get the toys we sent you? Asked papa. Papa always asked about the toys. Sí, said Areli. Gracias, mama. Gracias, papa. Mama, papa had been away so long. They felt like strangers. When are you coming home, she asked. She knew the answer. Oh, mija, we can't come back to Mexico, said Mama. We're trying to get you here to America, with us. Your mama and I dream of the day we will all be together, said Papa. We will send for you soon, I promise. When Areli hung up the phone, Alex tried to make her smile. Mama and Papa think about us all the time, he said. They're working hard, mija, said Abuela, for all of us. They want us to have a better life. But why will Alex go to America first and then me? Areli asked. Abuela had told her the answer many times. Alex was born in America, so he can come and go. You were born here, so it's harder for you. How hard? Abuela didn't answer. Instead, she wrapped Areli in her arms. Your mama and papa want you all to be together as a family. But they weren't all together as a family that year. Mama and papa didn't come back for Areli's birthday, or Dia de los Muertos, or even Navidad. Then one night, Alex took out his suitcase. "Where are you going?" Aurelie asked, but she already knew. "You know where I'm going," Alex said. "I'm going to Nueva York." He flashed her a big grin and gave her a drawing of the two of them in the yard with the chickens. "So you won't forget me," he said. A few days later, he was gone. Now, when she waited for calls from Mama and Papa, Aurelie had to wait alone. That fall, Aurelie started kindergarten at the school near her abuela's house. She was so proud to be at school. She learned to tie her shoes and write the letters of the alphabet. She played al escondite with her new friends. She barely thought of Nueva York at all. Until the day Abuela greeted her with tears in her eyes. "Aurelie, mija, you're leaving us," she said. "Your mama and papa are sending someone to take you to New York, to live with them at last." Abuela's voice was shaking. "I don't want to go to New York," Aurelie said. "I want to stay here with you and my friends and my home. Please don't make me go, Abuela. If I could take care of you here, I would, my sweet. But I am old, and there is no future for you in Mexico. You don't understand now, but someday you will." The next Saturday night's dinner was very sad. Aurelie said goodbye to her cousins. She said goodbye to her friends. She said goodbye to the mountains and the chickens. "I'll never forget you," she said. On Sunday morning, Abuela woke Aurelie at dawn. They held each other very tightly. A man with kind eyes was waiting for Aurelie in the doorway. "This man is a friend of your mama and papa's, and he will take you to America," Abuela said. "Come, Aurelie." Aurelie stayed where she was. The man was a stranger to her. "Be brave, Aurelie," Abuela said. Aurelie gave Abuela one more fierce hug. "I love you, mija." "I love you, Abuela," said Aurelie. Then she left for her new country. Well, there we go. Mama cried very hard when she saw Aurelie. Aurelie ran to her, but Mama didn't look like her picture at Abuela's house. Her hair was a different color, and it was curly. Papa had lines around his eyes. They held each other for a long time. Aurelie did not want to let go. "Aurelie," Alex said, "you made it. I can't wait to show you our house." Alex was a lot taller, but he still had a smile that spread ear to ear. Everything in New York was bigger and faster and noisier than in the mountains. It wasn't home at all. Aurelie had to go to school, but the teachers didn't know her name. She couldn't speak English, and when she tried, the words came out all wrong. She made friends with the other girls who could speak Spanish. But she couldn't stop kids from teasing her. "Aurelie's an illegal. They should take her back to Mexico. Aurelie can't read. She's so backward. Her mom cleans my house. She's our maid." Aurelie was ashamed. She had never felt this way before. "No te preocupes, Aurelie," her friend said. "No pueden hacerte daño." When she went home that night, Aurelie asked her mother what the kids meant when they said she was illegal. "Illegal means against the law," her mother began. "I'm not against the law," Aurelie said. "Of course you're not," said her mother. "But you were born in Mexico, so even though you are growing up here in America, you are not a citizen of this country." "Do I get to be a citizen someday?" asked Aurelie. "I hope so, mija. I hope so." Her mother wouldn't say anything else, so Aurelie asked Alex why she needed to be a citizen. "If you're a citizen, you can do whatever Americans do," he said. "Well, what if I'm not?" asked Aurelie. She wasn't sure she wanted to hear the answer. Then I guess you could be taken back to Mexico, said Alex. He wouldn't look at her. Without us. Aurelie didn't understand, but she knew she should stay quiet about her first home in Mexico. She did not want to be sent back to Mexico all by herself. She did not want to break the law just by being who she was. Aurelie had to work extra hard to learn her lessons in a new language. It wasn't easy. By second grade, she could count by fives. In third grade, she learned about the Constitution. By fourth grade, she could write a book report and read it aloud. Pretty soon, it was hard for Aurelie to remember how the sun shone on the mountains at Abuela's house. Now she spoke English like any other girl from America. She played jump rope games and watched TV shows. She and Alex could get anywhere in the city on the subway. They rode the F train all the way to Coney Island, where she saw the ocean for the first time. Every 4th of July, she was mesmerized by the fireworks in the sky. She was a New Yorker. In 5th grade, Aurelie's class went on a field trip. They got on a boat and sailed into the Hudson River. Aurelie's heart beat fast to see Ellis Island, where so many immigrants had come before her. On the tour of Ellis Island, Aurelie learned a lot. More than 12 million immigrants passed through here on their way to America, said the tour guide. Almost every one of us has family that came to this country from a foreign land. On the boat ride back home, Aurelie thought about the tour guide's words. She pictured the millions of other people who had made the long journey to America and how Lady Liberty welcomed them with her shining torch. She did not feel illegal. She felt like she was part of something very big. On Saturday, she called her abuela in Mexico. "Are you working hard?" Abuela asked. "Very hard," said Aurelie. She told Abuela all about Ellis Island. "Those immigrants are part of America. Remember when you said I might have a brighter future here, Abuela? I think I understand now, and I think you were right." That night, Aurelie looked out over the lights of New York City and dreamed of what she might do someday. She might be a writer and tell her story. She might be a teacher and help children who found themselves in this new land. "I could do anything here," Aurelie said to the city sky. "Someday I will." The end. I wonder what it could mean to make room for everyone's dreams in our community. And with that, our story is told.
Please rise for our theme hymn, number 1012, 1012, When I Am Frightened.
Sing to
The reading today is titled Second Attempt Crossing by Javier Zamora. Forcino. In the middle of that desert that didn't look like sand and sand only, in the middle of those acacias, whiptails, and coyotes, someone yelled, "La migra!" and everyone ran. In that dried creek where 40 of us slept, we turned to each other, and you flew from my side in the dirt. Black-throated sparrows, and dawn hitting the tops of mesquites beautifully. Against the herd of legs, you sprinted back toward me. I jumped on your shoulders, and we ran from the white trucks. It was then the gun ready to press its index. I said, "Freeze, Chino. Para, por favor." So I wouldn't touch their legs that kicked you. You pushed me under your chest, and I've never thanked you. Beautiful Chino, the only name I call you by. Farewell your tattooed chest, the M, the S, the 13. Farewell the phone number you gave me when you went east to Virginia and I went west to San Francisco. You called twice a month. Then your cousin said the gang you ran from in San Salvador found you in Alexandria. Farewell your brown arms that shielded me then, that shield me now. From La Migra.
Wow. I think we can go home now. I mean, I think that was amazing. Thank you. Good morning. I'm very grateful to be here with you all today. My name is Ronnie. I use they, them pronouns. And as Michael said, I'm a rising second year Master of Divinity student at Austin Seminary. Thank you. So because I'm in seminary, I've been pretty steeped in biblical exegesis. And I'm generally not a huge fan of the Bible, hence being a UU. I'm sure some of you can relate. But there is some good stuff in there. But as we know, so much of it has been weaponized against marginalized peoples rather than lifting them up. But I want to share a story with you today that, in my view and the view of other liberationist scholars, does center and lift up oppressed people. So the story I want to tell today is about Hagar and her son Ishmael. Has anyone heard of Hagar before? A few? Okay, cool. So in Genesis 21, Hagar's son Ishmael, who's Abraham's firstborn, is around 14 years old. Sarah has given birth to her own son, Isaac, who's now between 3 and 5. And Sarah sees Ishmael and Isaac playing together, and she's not happy. She can see that the two brothers have developed a bond, a kinship, and she's afraid that will threaten her son Isaac's portion of the inheritance from Abraham, the patriarch. Because although Ishmael is technically Abraham's firstborn, Sarah wants Isaac to become the next patriarch. Not very fair, but alas. So what does Sarah do? She goes to Abraham and she says, "Cast out that slave woman Hagar and her son Ishmael, for I do not want him sharing in my son's inheritance." And Abraham is distressed because Sarah is asking him to banish his firstborn son into the wilderness, where the risk to his life will be very great. But God quickly comes to Abraham and says, "Don't stress, just do whatever Sarah tells you, because I'm going to make Isaac the next patriarch. However, I will also make a great people of Ishmael, for he too is your son." So the next morning, Abraham gets up early and gives Hagar and Ishmael some bread and a single skin of water, and sends them away into the desert. Now Hagar doesn't know her way outside of the camp. So pretty quickly, she and Ishmael drink all of the water from the single skin that Abraham gave them, and Ishmael is now sick from dehydration, with no other source of water available. Well, Hagar knows, like any human would, that without water, Ishmael is not going to live very long. She's distraught. She doesn't want to watch Ishmael perish in the desert, so she goes to sit some distance away from him after putting him under a bush. In her despair, she bursts into tears. I got lost. She bursts into tears, the water from her eyes clouding her vision and falling onto the dusty earth. Ishmael cries out too in his suffering. An angel appears to Hagar and says, "What's troubling you? Don't be afraid, for God has heard the cries of your son. Take him by the hand and stand with him, for God will make a great people of him." And so Hagar opens her eyes and immediately sees a well of water that she didn't realize was there before. She goes to the well and fills up their water skin and gives it to Ishmael so that he can drink. And after that, sustained by the well, Ishmael grows up, becomes a skilled archer, and establishes a family there in the desert. So, what does this have to do with us? Bear with me. Due to the desert conditions of the Negev, the land in which Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar lived, they were nomadic, and they were forced to migrate because drought was a consistent reality. And like many migrants today, they faced a lot of uncertainty about where they would be able to settle, how they would find food and water and build shelter. Hagar and Ishmael were migrants, like Sarah and Abraham, but their situation was different. Hagar was an Egyptian, not an Israelite, so she was racially other, and she was enslaved by Abraham and Sarah to be their surrogate when Sarah was infertile. So not only was Hagar forced to migrate alongside Abraham and Sarah, but she was also a subjugated and abused single mother, looked down upon because of her ethnicity. This scene in which God opens Hagar's eyes to a well nearby is what enables Ishmael to survive in the wilderness and eventually become the patriarch of his lineage. And so what does it mean for God to open her eyes? Well, there's a lot of different interpretations of this. But geologically speaking, the Negev Desert is in the southernmost region of contemporary Palestine. It's hot and dry, and surface weather is scarce most of the time. Nomadic herders like Abraham knew the locations of streams and springs so well so that they could water their flocks of sheep and goats. But in times when those water sources ran dry, they were forced to dig wells, which is difficult because the bedrock is made of chalk. Chalk is usually impermeable except in some areas, so if a well digger was lucky enough, they would break through a fracture in the bedrock, and they might be able to access a channel of water that would become the well to water their flocks. And this is key. Once a herder had dug their well, they kept it a secret, so that no one else would be able to find it and use the water for their herds and their people. This is likely why Hagar did not realize the well was there until God opened her eyes. The way that I read this is that the divine gave her the ecological awareness that she needed to know there was water in her midst. So at this point, you may still be wondering, what does this have to do with us? As our earth gets hotter, regions of the world that are already hot are quickly becoming unlivable for humans and wildlife. One such region on our own continent is the Sonoran Desert, which stretches across parts of Mexico, Arizona, and California. There's very little surface water available in this desert because climate change exacerbates drought and heat waves, meaning the water evaporates very quickly and is thus not accessible to the creatures who need it. Dr. Laura Hobgood-Oster, professor of environmental studies at Southwestern University, suggests that an oppressor blocks the view of the oppressed by guarding resources for themselves. And we see this exact dynamic playing out today in the Sonoran Desert. In the 1990s, the United States government implemented a policy called prevention through deterrence. They built massive walls and high-tech surveillance near cities along the southern border, intentionally forcing human migration into the most hostile, arid regions of the desert. The policy relied on the desert itself to act as a barrier, which works by weaponizing water scarcity. If you look at this screen, this is the migrant death map maintained by an organization called Humane Borders. Every single red dot, all 4,474 of them, represents a human being who has died in that wilderness since the year 2000. And the leading cause of death on this map is dehydration. Because water is so heavy, most migrants making the crossing are only able to carry a gallon, maybe 2, which is not nearly enough for a 70-mile journey. They are forced to ration it, taking tiny sips just to survive, a practice that frequently leads to severe delirium. One 36-year-old migrant named Raul, who wasn't able to complete his crossing, said, "I thought I was going to die out there. I couldn't take it. My heart was pounding, and I started to see things. I was hallucinating. I was looking at the trees, but I was seeing houses and cities all around me. I would stop and take a small drink of water, but 5 minutes later, I would see things again. I only brought a gallon of water with me." So in Genesis, Hagar sits in the desert, her tears obscuring her vision, convinced that her son is going to die. But when Ishmael cries out, he is heard and the divine does justice, opening Hagar's eyes and revealing a well that was hidden from her. Today in the Sonoran Desert, imagine Raul or any of the thousands of people walking those 70 miles, delirious from dehydration and losing hope for survival. Suddenly, floating high above the brush and cacti and waves of heat is something real, a blue flag. Waving 30 feet in the air, that blue flag is a signal, an invitation to approach with caution. When a migrant follows that flag down to the desert ground, they find what Hagar found, a well in the wilderness. Only today, this well is a 55-gallon blue plastic drum filled with clean, life-giving water, left there by the volunteers of Humane Borders. The people who place these tanks aren't waiting for divine intervention or miracle. They are choosing to resist state-sanctioned violence against migrants by ensuring that when a suffering person opens their eyes, they see water.
My soul, take me down the trail, through the highs and the lows, take me all the way up to the soul made of gold, where the light of your love shines as bright as the sun. So water my soul, oh, 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 oh. So water my, lead me into the fire, with the warmth of your flames we're rising higher, to a place where time stands still and I know you.
Humane Borders was founded by people of faith across traditions who know that it's not enough to simply witness suffering. We have a moral obligation to act. As Unitarian Universalists, we know this truth in our bones. From the streets of Minneapolis to the parking lots of detention centers, UUs show up. Supporting this work is how we stand in solidarity and literally save the lives of those on the absolute margins, people forced to flee dangerous circumstances only to encounter systemic racism, prejudice, and physical harm along the way. So the font got really interesting, but I think it's kind of cute. So I invite you today to support the migrants in the Sonoran Desert in whatever way makes sense for you. Human Borders relies entirely on donations to fund their life-saving work. You can financially support them by making a donation or adopting a water station, or you can even travel to Arizona to volunteer in person. And remember, many of the people walking those blistering trails would be crossing the border into Texas if our own borders weren't so violently guarded. This is our backyard too, because this is the reality. Migrants, unhoused people, and low-income communities are always the first to bear the brunt of the climate crisis. As our planet heats up, and as massive AI data centers consume millions of gallons of local water to cool their servers, water is rapidly becoming our most precious and our most fought over natural resource. Whether it means fighting for climate justice locally, supporting a water tank in the desert, or even setting up rainwater barrels in our own backyards, let us commit to keeping the wells open for all who need to drink. May we refuse to look away. May we hear the cries of those in the wilderness, even and especially when their voices are suppressed. And may we ensure that no one anywhere is left to die of thirst. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. As Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote, prayer cannot bring water to parched fields, or mend a broken bridge, or rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. I would add that it is where we give words to the yearning of our hearts. In that spirit, let us pray. Tree of life, teach us how to grow deep roots that anchor us in the love we need to sustain ourselves in these times. Show us how to share nourishment with those around us by creating networks of care and connection. Help us remember what it means to be good stewards of the land where we live, how to tend our waterways, nourish our soils, and make sure our human and more than human kin have enough to eat and drink. Bear witness to our grief, anger, and hope as we hospice the ways of being that no longer serve our planet and imagine new futures where all beings can live and thrive. Remind us that the work of doing justice is lifelong, that our job is to break cycles and become good ancestors, building a better world for the ones who come after us. Amen, and blessed be.
Being in community, we share our lives with each other, including the significant milestones, joys, and sorrows. And today, George Tiger, he writes, "This past week marked the 30th anniversary of my ordination to Unitarian Universalist ministry. On June 2nd, 1996, I was ordained by the Universalist Parish of Monson, Massachusetts, presided over by my dear friend, the late Reverend Olivia Holmes, and with the indubitable Reverend Scott Alexander preaching. But I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. And I want you to tell me that secret, how that works. Congratulations. Cap Cruz. I'd like to thank everyone that volunteered to help out with our Round Rock Pride Festival yesterday. Everyone's help made it a successful event. Barbara Coldiron writes, Christina Donna is getting better in rehab, but she is struggling with insurance companies. Sofia Castillo Puentes writes, please pray for my husband who is having challenges at work. We've had those, haven't we? Evie, my dad is at the hospital and I hope he gets better. Please keep him in your thoughts and send positivity his way. That's Evie W. Marie Mulling. Welcome back, you guys. Today is Carl Mulling's 43rd birthday. And the Mulling family would like to announce they have moved back to the area. That's Carl, Marie, Elliot, and Kalmia. May we bear witness to the concerns both expressed and silent in our hearts. Amen and blessed be. Please join me in singing.
As I read our benediction for today, I invite you to place a hand on your heart or wrap yourself in a hug if you would like to. As we lead this, we pause, breathe. As we leave this sacred place, may our eyes remain open to the truths we have seen today. When the world tells us to look away, may we choose to see. When we encounter beings in need of care and sustenance, may we choose the path of radical hospitality. In the heat of summer days to come, remember that we are part of an interconnected web of life. Where there is vulnerability, let us be a tree providing strength. Where there is drought, let us be rain. Where there is despair, let us be a blue flag floating high in the distance. Go forth into the world to hear the cries of the oppressed, to protect the precious waters of our earth, and to be wells in the wilderness for one another. Go in peace, solidarity, and love. Amen, and blessed be.
Please rise and join us in singing hymn 1046, Shall We Gather at the River, and remain standing for our chalice extinguishing. Okay, you can all sit down right now. No? Stand up? Okay. I just wanted to see if you're listening. For our chalice extinguishing, let us say these words as Kalmia comes to extinguish. Say these words to each other as we extinguish our chalice. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard. The path is never clear. And stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Now you can sit down. Thank you. It has been a gift to be together today. Thank you to today's home team, that stands for hospitality and membership, who provided hospitality and worship and tech leadership. The home team today included Tim, Robin, Barbara, Mark A., Cap on soundboard, Tracy on live stream, John, Josh, Richard, Judy, and Don. It takes a village. Oh, Jay, thank you, Jay. Let's continue that hospitality by spending the next 5 minutes talking with someone we don't know. Members, be sure to introduce yourself to any first-time visitors we have. They're the ones with the handwritten paper name tags. And show them where the visitor's table is and the coffee, where they can find that. And may we all know the blessings of fellowship. Thank you.